Alright, YouTube, I wanted to make an update video as to some of the stuff we've got done as far as work on the S10. The firewall pretty much is done. I did leave that. I just seam sealed around it and painted it. At the point when I got done, I cut that piece out and welded a new piece of metal in right there. You can kind of see where the seam is if you follow my finger in the video. If it quit shaking, around to where I welded that in. We cut that piece out. I welded a new piece in for the steering column. The new steering column is in. The steering is all hooked back up. It's down low and out of the way. Works fine, no binding. I seam sealed around all of that. I put some kill mat on the firewall and warmed it up with my heater so it stuck real well. And then I went over it with some foiled heat guard over the top of it, just basically behind where the engine's at, to kind of keep some of the heat from transferring through the firewall as it used to do before. But now with the exhaust not going under the truck, there shouldn't be an issue with any of that. Plus it's out of the way. I redid the cross member. I cut the old one out. That piece of tube I had welded in there with the ends open. That's all stick welded in with an arc welder. I capped the ends of it, and instead of 1/8 inch, that's 3/16 tube, so it's thicker, and it's 2x3 tubing. So now I don't have to, if I do choose to do it, which I don't think at this point where we're going to, the radiator's not going to go up here. I'm going to put the radiator, I'll show you in a minute what I'm going to do with it, but it's going in the bed, so we can put the intercooler and all up here for the turbo setup. Got the manual brake setup on it, all done, hooked up. All you got to do is run a couple different lines, neaten the lines up a little bit. I do have a boost gauge and vacuum gauge mounted out here just so I can watch, as well as a voltmeter up there. I just did it. I had it. I put it in that hole. Inside of the cab's done. All the kill mats down on the floor. See where the carpet's peeled back. The steering column is in. I used a factory bracket up here. All I did was I cut a slot in it because this is 1 3/4 inch, this column. What I did is I cut a slot in the factory bracket. I took a muffler hanger and I welded the base of the muffler hanger into the bracket. Now I gotta trim these studs off, but I welded it all the way in and then put the clamp over the top of it. It's hard to see down in there, but it's all down in there and buttoned up tight, secured to the firewall down there with a clamp that I got from Speedway Motors to the firewall. I don't think there's anything else in here we did. Yes, it has a removable steering wheel, so it accepts any 3-bolt, like Grant wheel or any 3-bolt wheel. You slide it on, put the spring-loaded pin in it, and you're done. But that was some Speedway. Carpet's laid back in it for now. Pretty much get it cut and trimmed this time to fit. Now, pretty much the radiator is going to go right there. I'm going to cut a hole through the bed floor, so it can draw air. I'm going to build a bracket to hold it basically about 2 inches off the floor of the bed. And I'm going to run, some guys use -16 because it's cheaper than -20. But I've already got the ends, the clamp, little rubber boot. You clamp the end in it, it goes to -20. I got one for over there. I'm going to use that port, which is a heater hose port, and to an expansion tank I'm going to mount up on the side of the bed up high, so it actually will be higher than the engine to fill the radiator with. I may end up taking it over and having to take the neck out and just cap that off and just put a screw-in type fill cap in it, just so I still have access to it if I need it. And I'm going to run -20 line up to the water pump, which is electric, It'll have a dash 20 fitting coming out of it. And the water neck, I'm going to go to a dash 20 water neck. And I'm also going to put a fill spout up there in the top hose, so I can fill it at the top hose. I'll probably use those corrugated stainless hoses again because I have a ton of that stuff. I got like 4-foot lengths of it and the little rubber ends that go on it, and use that to do it. And then of course I'll drill a hole in my thermostat, or 2 1/8-inch holes like I normally do, so I can burp the air out of the engine. But the expansion tank will be the highest point, along with the overflow catch for the radiator, which I'll probably end up mounting most likely up here on the front of the bed or over there. So it'll be up where it's higher than the point of the engine, so it can bring the air out that way and do that. I thought about mounting it to the sloped bars on the cage, but I don't want it sticking up where you can see it, because then it entices people. And why I'm not going to do this is, years ago, a friend of my dad's had a truck that they built, and they put the radiator in the bed. They went to a car show. Some malicious people decided it would be cute to come up and poke the radiator full of holes on the open face side away from the fans. And they thought it'd be cute just to come up there while they're looking at the truck and reach up in here and mess the radiator up. I'm not doing that, because I do go to car shows with it occasionally just to take it for something to do when my wife takes her El Camino. Door panels are done. I got the diamond plate in them, and I'll show that. I got the Lexan for the back window. I've got it cut. I just got to put it in the rubber. We've test fitted it. I just got to put it in the rubber and put it in the back. There's some manual brakes again from manualbrakes.com. Real nice company, outfit. Guy actually gives you a regular local number to call him on if you have trouble, and he answers the phone, which I ain't had no trouble. It bench blade fine. We put it on there. For right now, I do have 2 sockets, which I might leave them in there, keeping with the backyard built truck's theme. We use what we got, but that's 2 3/8 drive sockets, spacing this out so the brake lines aren't mashed into the firewall. Again, the steering, it looks like it's real close to that control arm, but if you come down here and you see, it's, yeah, nearly an inch away from it. So next thing we're going to do, like I said, I'm going to try to make some real-time videos instead of the before and after stuff. I've just been really busy. We're going to change the front brake setup to a dual piston caliper setup, different vented cross-drilled rotors. Put the tubular lower control arms on it. I'm going to put a stock core support back in it. I may shave some metal out of it to shed some weight, and then I might just build some 3-inch or 3/4-inch tube and just build one and then put the headlight bucket pieces in it and be done. I ain't decided yet, but that's it. No new news with the 8.8 other than we got it cut down. We got all the parts to put it together. I just ain't done it. But it was a little bit of fun trying to TIG weld that in there. The only TIG welding I've ever done is when I worked was TIG welding aluminum. We got a lot of aluminum material trailers and TIG welding on like the truck radiators and so forth, but I've never had to do it with steel, so it was a learning curve. I bought different tungstens. I bought thoriated, some different, just all kinds. I think I got blue, red, purple, gray is what I ended up buying. And actually the purple ended up working better for the steel than anything as far as the tungsten. And believe it or not, I used MIG wire for filler rod on all of this. It was a little time consuming, but it worked. I couldn't find none here locally, so I just used a roll of MIG wire, 035 MIG wire for filler. I put 4 or 5 pop rivets in it to hold it in place, welded it, ground it down, put GM seam sealer around it. See if I can find the tube. Excuse the mess, there's crap everywhere. But